back to another episode of Doing Life TV with Sam and Joyce. And today we have a really exciting episode planned.
Well, exciting, yeah, maybe a little bit. I think it also might be a little depressing.
Well, it could be, yes. We're talking about sugar, which people do love sugar.
Everyone loves sugar, so that part is exciting.
Even we love sugar, if we're honest.
Hands down, sugar is the best.
Yeah. But we did decide about a year ago to make sugar a much less significant part of our lives.
Much less significant part.
And really cutting sugar out completely is almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, you go through just about any item in your cabinetry, stuff that you wouldn't even expect. Sugar's really it's like the top 2 or 3 things that are on the list.
Yeah, and we live in the land of reality, so we decided to cut back as much sugar as possible, but we're also not, going completely insane.
Right.
If there's a couple grams here and there, we're not, knocking it out of our lives.
Right, because it's such a hard struggle, to say I'm going to go completely sugar-free, because even things that are quote-unquote sugar-free, there's something in there that's just
always
as bad.
Hidden sugar.
Yeah, there's something terrible hiding behind the door. So it's just like sugar gives you this huge rush, and then you crash really hard, so that's kind of where it is. Like, we're really excited about this and trying to learn and everything like that, but then, there's some bad stuff behind it. Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is, sugar is delicious.
It is.
Makes you feel good.
Oh, so good.
And people tend to come back with, well, sugar's natural. Sugar's been around forever.
Like sugar cane, right?
Yeah. It's a natural substance. It shouldn't be bad for you. And a lot of the ingredients that we're using in place of sugar, they're kind of the new kids on the block. We haven't had them around quite as long as sugar, at least not commercially sold, such a, readily available substance.
Right. Now, aren't most of these things, they're not quote unquote natural, these sugar substitutes that a lot of things
Some
are?
of them are just as natural as sugar, like the stevia, that's a leaf.
Right.
And then other ones are either a chemical or chemical compound or a sugar alcohol. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the differences are. And there isn't in itself anything wrong with sugar, and the fact that it is natural, it's not going to
It's even in vegetables, so you think you're going down that route. Isn't there sugar in some of the vegetables that are out there?
In some of the starchy vegetables, Naturally occurring sugar in fruit, vegetables, and dairy, that's a little bit different, but still should be considered into your diet.
Right.
But sugar itself, what you see in, baked goods, candies, breads, things like that, that's really what we're talking about. And the problem with them, it's not so much that it's, bad in the sense that it's a chemical, because it is natural, but it's completely empty calories. So what I mean by that is they're so incredibly calorie dense. You're getting a ton of calories in sugar, but you're getting zero nutritional benefit. Nothing
out of it.
Yeah. So you don't want to fill your body up with that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, unless you want that nice extra waistline and you appreciate dad bod, I guess that's kind of the way to go about that.
And when you eat sugar, your body digests it very quickly, extremely quickly. So you're not getting any sort of energy from it.
No, satisfaction.
Quickly, you're getting energy instantly. And
but then that comes that crash.
Exactly. And then you crash. So I think it's surprising when you think about what foods are really high in sugar.
Right.
Because it can be surprising.
Well, we're talking about, when we're setting up, we're talking about yogurts and stuff like that, which
yogurts are one of the worst as far as hidden sugars.
Which is crazy.
Some of these yogurts have more sugar in it than an adult should consume in a 24-hour period.
So how much sugar can an adult have in a 24-hour period?
It is
so if I stayed up for 24 hours, how much sugar can I have?
It's recommended, and I even think these are a little bit high, that women have no more than 25 grams of sugar a day.
Okay. All right.
Men no more than 36 grams a day.
The recommended.
I'm not really sure why they separate the men and women, because some women are bigger than men, but it must be a hormonal thing.
In general, I guess. Yeah. The way.
But they're saying, so those are the recommendations, but what's actually happening is the average American is having about 94 grams of sugar a day.
So 3 times, almost 4 times, I guess, if you took it, the women are having almost 4 times. And that's probably low. I would think the average American's probably having a lot more
it's
than
average.
that.
So some families are, eating very little, and then other families,
right.
I mean, you see those documentaries on TV where these people are living off Mountain Dew and their teeth are falling out, so we've got to balance out the the people who are eating very
You
healthy.
don't see you see those documentaries on TV. I see the ones where they're
I'm
living
the only
out.
person who watches all of those documentaries.
I've watched the documentaries where they're living in the wilderness or living off the land. They're
making
not getting any of those
in the back.
Yeah, like the wilderness guys, and they're all natural diet because they have to go out and hunt it and kill it themselves.
That's how it should be. That's how our ancestors lived, right? They were eating when they worked for the food they ate.
Right. So you're burning calories just trying to get to the calories, and that's kind of a natural thing. So I did a little bit because we were talking about the yogurts and stuff like that. Because there's a big,
very surprising.
It's considered to be like the healthy option.
It's touted as health food.
It's kind of sold that way, and everyone says it's a good snack and stuff.
Probiotics, they're going to fix all your gut buddies, but if your gut buddies are full of sugar, the probiotic isn't going to do a whole lot for it.
Gut buddies.
We'll talk about gut buddies another time.
That sounds like a college thing, like a club or something like that. Yeah, we're the gut buddies. Like everyone with their beer bellies and everything. Name. I'm all in on that T-shirt. I'm going to trademark.
Right, we'll trademark that T-shirt. Gut buddies. I think that's probably not our name to take. But.
Actually, no. Like you probably you could put the name down around the gut. I think it works out.
You should just talk about yogurt.
So you talked about gut buddies. We got to sit on that one for a little bit. Okay, so there's all kinds of different brands. I'm not going to mention all the brands, but there's some definitely popular brands out there. And we're talking about like serving sizes, like a little cup.
6 ounces, right? Isn't that what a yogurt is, 6 ounces?
And these like fruit on the bottoms and all that kind of stuff.
That's what I lived for, fruit on the bottom.
Yeah. That's
Peach fruit on the bottom, that was my jam.
Peach fruit on the bottom, actually, that was your yogurt, not your jam.
Or the black cherry.
One of the most popular ones out there, I won't mention the name, has 24 grams of sugar.
Right, and women are recommended 25 grams a day.
Done.
So you put a little cream in your coffee, you've got some, naturally occurring sugar in your dairy, and you're done. You're done for the day.
You're done for the day. And most of these range from like that was a low end one, like out of the top like 5 or 6. Another popular one that's out there has 28 grams of sugar in it. And it says on it like a probiotic, supports all this kind of stuff.
And I bet you're not even looking up like the kind that they're marketing to kids. Like I think there might be a Trix brand or something like they have these like cereal brand yogurts that they're marketing for kids, or they have these ones in the
Go-Gurt sticks. Yeah.
Is that what they are?
Yeah. They came out way too late for my childhood.
Yeah, I didn't have them either, but I don't know how much sugar's in them, but I would be willing to bet it's more than what they're selling to the adults.
You can't give a kid some fruit thing. They're not going to be all up in on that.
Like our oldest son was allergic to milk for the first 9 years, so I would get him dairy-free milk and yogurt, and he still prefers dairy-free everything, but we would get him these like probiotic shakes, like yogurt shakes, and I would put them in his lunch. And now I look at the sugar content and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I doing to my child? And here I thought, because they weren't even cheap, they were expensive, and I thought I was investing in my son's health.
Because it wasn't milk, so it was going down a different route, but they were putting sugar in it.
I wanted to make sure he was getting his protein. I wanted to make sure he was getting his probiotics because he couldn't have dairy, so I was trying to find him an alternative. And I was just feeding him sugar.
Weren't they flavored too? Like they were vanilla flavored, chocolate flavored.
Yeah.
I remember they came in the purple thing. He called it his purple milk.
Yes.
Even though it wasn't purple. Those things are just full of sugars, huh?
All sugar, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there may have been some nice ingredients in there as well, but when you have to put so much sugar in it to get it down the kid's throat, you're losing a lot of the nutritional
You're trying
benefit.
to give it to him because he needs some of that other stuff going on.
So what can you do about yogurt? In my personal opinion,
don't eat it, apparently.
Well, there are some good nutritional benefits to yogurt, and I know you can make your own. The Instant Pot has like become a household tool, so people can easily make their own yogurt at home.
Really took off over the last year or two, right?
It's a huge thing. People love to make their own yogurt.
Lots of fun to release the pressure of an Instant Pot.
Oh, that's my least favorite part. It's so annoying.
It's so cool. Just
gets all over your curtains.
Yes.
Release it outside if you can.
Release the
anyway,
Instant Pot.
I know it isn't a popular opinion, but just get unflavored, unsweetened Greek yogurt, full fat. And you will have all of the probiotics, all of the nutrition.
None of the flavor.
Yeah, you do have to kind of get used to it. We started using that as in place of sour cream or things like that.
I do remember that we break that out for when we used to have potatoes and stuff like that.
More as a savory instead of a sweet.
It was an add-on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can use it, like we use it to make sauce when we do gyros and things like that at home.
Oh, we do we?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's different ways.
I didn't know that's what we did.
There is one company that sweetens that I think really well called Too Good, TWO. And the reason they call it is because there's only 2 grams of sugar.
In the whole thing?
In the whole,
like
6 ounce.
6 ounce little container.
Yeah, so that's It's okay. I would say the vanilla is great. The other ones are okay, but I just stick to the unflavored. You'll be fine.
Oh, wow. Can you add your own fruits to it, I guess, and go that route?
There is still sugar in fruit.
Right, yeah.
It is a little bit, when we're talking about fruit and dairy, there is natural sugar. You do have to consider that. The upside is your body will digest that slower, so you will get a little bit of energy from it.
Like the fruit sugar, it digests slower?
Yes, natural sugar, your body will digest at a slower rate. You will get some energy from it. Where just pure cane sugar, your body's going to rapidly go through. You're not going to get any sort of nutritional.
So I take trips to Haiti, and one of the things that they like is they literally have the cane sugar stick, and they just gnaw on it. Like that's kind of one of their things.
Awesome. I think that's totally fine because, well, I don't know. They're probably getting candy and stuff there too, but if that's your sweetness, is you're gnawing on a sugar cane.
They are literally just the stick.
That's
They're just
not
gnawing
what our
on
kids
the
are
stick.
eating. We're gnawing on, dum-dums and things like that. So that's probably how it was intended to be eaten, is what they're doing in Haiti.
Like straight out of the stick.
Yeah.
Like we get to heaven and God says, I created sugar cane to be eaten straight from the stick, and you guys messed it up. That's exactly what's going to happen.
That's
like,
pretty much what happened.
That's on us.
That's on us. That's on us. We turned it into bagels and donuts and, all that good stuff. That's on us. Yeah.
The stick, it's just a liquid. But I mean, when I say they eat it, they really they found that. Yeah, it's all over the place. I guess, well, because the environment
they're not fat. I mean, they're not, right?
No, well, they're working for their sugar, so
yeah.
I mean, culturally, they're definitely not obese.
I mean, I can't imagine they're getting more than 25 grams, the recommended amount, from gnawing on those things.
That'd be a great question to ask. How many grams of sugar are in sugar cane sticks?
Yeah, I mean,
we'll have to play that one out. We'll look into that.
And the amount of fiber in a sugar cane is probably a lot different than the amount of fiber in our granulated processed sugar.
Oh,
I would guess. This is only speculation. We have no idea what we're talking about at this point. I have no idea how we even got here.
That's how we tap. Look, we're by no means are we experts, but we're trying to read up and study stuff, and we just went total sidetrack.
Yeah, no idea how we got to sugar cane in Haiti.
These are genuine sugar sticks is what they are. Like instead of like the little pixie sticks that the kids have and they're throwing in there and all that kind of stuff.
So anyway, we are eventually going to get to some desserts you can make at home that require no sugar at all, which is how I like to dessert.
Yeah, well, we've transitioned into that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of building, trying to, and it's been a experience.
Oh, it's for sure an experiment.
To try to figure out what works.
Anytime I try a new recipe now, whether it's sweet or savory, I'm like, okay, this is the first time. We're going to give it a whirl. And by the second time, I know what to do. Because it is a little bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, quantities and stuff like that. Yes. And we'll get into that a little bit later, like some of the the sugar substitutes and stuff like that. The quantities have to look a little different. I know that much. The taste is a little different. Sometimes they're stronger too. Like a little thing of stevia.
Yes.
When we switch for our coffees, we put say 2 teaspoons of sugar in the coffee. You put 2 teaspoons of stevia in there. No, it's like you're drinking straight like maple syrup. It's just so sweet.
I had the exact
like the correlation, what it is going back and forth,
and it was ridiculous. Oh, okay. So the stevia plant is about 30 to 150 times as sweet as sugar.
What?
So yeah, when they in a recipe say to put in 2 drops of stevia, they really mean 2 little tiny drops, not like teaspoons, because it'll be like sweet. Yeah.
No, it really is. Now there begs the question: how do we why is sugar cane back in the day? Why did they start with the sugar then from the sugar cane stick and stuff like that, not the stevia plant? Stevia plant's not new, is it? It's been around, I'm assuming.
I don't know, to answer your question.
Oh, good, thank you.
But stevia is liquid. You buy stevia in a liquid form.
Right.
You can get
you
things
said
like
it's a plant,
Truvia
right?
and things like that in a granulated form, but they have to process that.
That's a whole nother step they have to take.
Right. Now, I guess they have to process sugar as well to make it granulated. I'm only guessing here. I'm guessing sugar is extremely, extremely inexpensive to make, and stevia is not. That would be my only assumption as to why. Plus, sugar's addicting. So you want to put something addicting in a product that you're selling because, when you have something with sugar, you're not satisfied. You want more. You want more.
And sugar is in so many different things.
It's in everything.
Pizza crust, the pizza sauce, sugar's all hidden up in there. It's everywhere.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, something fun to Google, if you're like me, is the amount of sugar in kids' meals. If you go to a restaurant and get a pizza, yes, there'll be sugar in the crust, but not compared to the amount of sugar in the kids' pizza on the kids' menu.
Really?
They pump so much extra sugar into the kids' menu items to get the kids to eat them.
I wonder if that's the idea. So if the kid enjoys eating there, then the parents
We're all
are
coming back. Kids are happy. They like the pizza. Yeah, the amount of sugar we feed our children, even unknowingly,
right,
is really shocking when you get down to it.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
So essentially, we're going to try to figure out. We're going to share one of our favorite desserts, right? Like that's.
Yeah, we're actually going to share 2 of our favorite desserts during the hour today.
Right. So we're going to take a break soon, and when we come back, we'll talk about which dessert are we doing.
We're doing the lemon cheesecake mousse first.
Okay. So everyone's going to be invited right into our very own kitchen for our first cooking segment that we're trying out. Right?
Yeah.
All right. That's it. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back, and we will talk about sugar-free desserts.
So today we're going to be showing you 2 of our favorite sugar-free desserts. One is going to be very sweet, a chocolate dessert.
Sweet.
But we are first going to start with my all-time favorite dessert. It is a lemon cheesecake mousse, and it is super tart.
A lemon cheesecake mousse.
Yeah, you've tried it. It's not your favorite,
no, it's not my favorite.
But I could just eat a cupful of it. It's really delicious if you like that lemony tart kind of dessert. So
okay, let's make it.
Yeah, I was thinking since I typically do the baking, I would have you make it.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. Well, this is like a no-bake process, right? So
the easiest dessert you've ever made, yeah.
All right, that's the key, easy. All right.
And I've already really prepped it all for you, so I'm going to make you look really good. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is some cream cheese, a whole block of it, room temperature, or you might want to like slightly soften it a little bit in the microwave. Not even soft, you just want it more room temperature. You don't want it straight out of the fridge, or it's never going to really like whip for you well. And you're just going to go ahead and get those beaters, and you just want to take it and just start to like beat it up.
All right, so this is going to be loud for a little bit.
Just for a quick second. Don't go too crazy.
Ooh.
Yep. They're going to get caught in there, and that's fine. Don't worry about that. All right, perfect. Okay, so the next thing we're going to add to it, of course, would be lemon. And I already juiced a lemon for you, and I also grated the outside of the lemon. I love to have that in my desserts.
That little grit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's so delicious. So I literally took the lemon, I took the entire outside of it, and I just shredded the whole peel.
You also like pulp in your orange juice, don't you?
Love pulp in my orange juice,
So if you're not pulp, you could do just a juice?
You could just juice it, or just do a little bit of it maybe, but I literally shred through like the whole lemon, and then I cut it in half, and then I juice the whole thing. But 1 whole lemon for every 8 ounces of cream cheese you put in. So you go ahead and dump all that in.
All that in there. Okay.
And before you start beating, we're also going to add in the sweetener. So we're going to do...
All right, I got the sweetener right here.
He's a funny one. We're going to do a 1/4 cup of erythritol, or whatever sugar-free sweetener you prefer to use.
So what do we have? Is that this?
Yep, that's the erythritol we're using today.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be this erythritol. This is called Z-Sweet, all-natural, zero-calorie sweetener. I typically use Swerve, but I didn't happen to have any granulated Swerve on hand. You could probably use the powdered Swerve. That's what I have. But this is granulated. That's what I've always used. So 1/4 cup of a granulated, sugar-free, calorie-free, carb-free sweetener.
1/4 cup going in.
1/4 cup.
All right.
Okay, let's see. Okay, go ahead and beat. Oh no, one more thing. The vanilla. Sorry. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then you can beat that all together.
All right, I can do this.
Okay. Good, and then you can just put the dirty one in this bowl.
There we go.
All the dirty stuff together.
Okay.
Mix it all together.
This has got to sound really good for our sound guy.
Yeah, right. They're going to love us.
Okay, it's whipping up pretty good.
So yummy, and it smells so lemony and so fresh, doesn't it?
It smells like someone just cleaned the countertop.
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay, so that is the first step, and we're going to do the second step in a completely different bowl. So you're going to bring the KitchenAid front and center now.
Here we go. Dun, da, da, da.
And we're going to put 1 cup of heavy whipping cream in a KitchenAid, or if you don't have a KitchenAid, you just have to clean your beaters and do a separate bowl of those.
Now, why does it have to be a separate bowl?
Because that's how you make whipped cream. You don't make whipped cream as... This wouldn't whip if you had it in there.
Oh, I got you. So
we're making whipped cream.
Okay.
Okay, so you take 1 cup of your heavy whipping cream, and then this is optional. You could take a couple of drops of liquid stevia if you want to sweeten it up a little bit. I typically don't put stevia in my whipped cream, depending on what I'm mixing it with, but this is a pretty tart dessert, so we're going to go ahead and put like dessert. Maybe 5 little drops.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So this is just liquid stevia. You can probably get it at any grocery store. It's not flavored, although we do have a lemon flavored one, and I kind of toyed with putting that in.
Yeah.
No? Okay, so this is just unflavored.
It's got enough lemon in it.
We're gonna just go ahead and lock that, and then you can turn it on. And it just takes a couple of minutes. You want it to really get going. You don't want to mess around. So that's gonna take a couple of minutes to beat. I hope you can hear me while it's doing that. And as soon as this turns into whipped cream, we're gonna mix the 2 bowls together.
And then we'll have our...
And then it's done. It's literally that easy. Okay, once you have literally whipped the cream, you've made some good old whipped cream, you're just gonna add 1 bowl to the other, stir them together. You can refrigerate it, or you can just go ahead and dig in.
So it all gets mixed in, it's not like
just fold it together.
Gotcha. Got the beautiful little spatula here, right?
Yep.
Scooping everything out. So it takes a couple minutes for it to whip up, right?
Yeah, not long.
That's
probably the longest part, is the amount of time it takes to whip the cream.
I'm surprised it whips like that. I've never seen that before. I didn't know. I've seen you put that stuff in your coffee before, but I've never seen it whip out like this.
Well, I don't put this in my coffee. I put the heavy cream in my coffee.
Isn't that what we just did?
Yeah. I thought you meant the whipped cream.
Nah.
Okay, so you just mix the 2 together.
I'm just taking this all...
And gently kind of fold them together.
Like kneading it together.
Okay.
Just like that. That was a baking term I used, in case you didn't know. You can look it up.
Should I get a pretty bowl to put it in, or are you just going to leave it?
Do we need a pretty bowl to put it in?
Maybe. I should have gotten a strawberry to put on top.
We don't, in our house, we do great presentation when someone comes over.
Sometimes.
Depends on how many times you've been to our house.
Yeah.
If you've been over, once, then maybe you get something decent. But usually, if you've been here more than once, the rule is your family. So take care of yourself.
You didn't mix that together awesome, so it's a little clumpy.
I didn't mix it together?
No.
You stopped me early.
But anyway.
The miracle of television, now it's in a beautiful...
If only you guys could add
little bowl.
Beautiful strawberry on top. It would look so pretty.
How about we just put a lemon on top?
Just pop a lemon on top. Now. Don't. All right, are you going to try it?
I'm going to try it.
Let me get you a spoon.
All right. This is our actual kitchen. We're not on set anywhere or anything like that. This is our
This is our actual kitchen. First time filming a recipe, but you probably figured that one out already.
All right.
All right.
We're doing this?
Yeah.
I should get another spoon.
No.
Okay.
Super tart, right?
Yeah, I got the clumps.
That's the best part.
I'm a no pulp kind of guy. I don't like any pulp in my orange juice.
It's so good. You guys have to make this. Let us know if you do. I love it. The rest of this is going in the fridge. I'm going to be eating out.
Oh, this will be gone very soon. Mm-hmm. Between Joyce and our oldest.
We're the only 2 in the house that like it, which is glorious because then we get it.
It's not bad when you get the whipped cream in there, but every now and then that little lemon just bites you.
Yeah.
Just nails you there.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and clean this up. We'll be back in a minute with our chocolate mousse. So that was a lot of fun. I liked recording in our kitchen and just showing kind of what we do at home.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we don't stand side by side.
We never cook together, but I liked it. I think we should.
We could probably do it a little bit more often. Now, this dessert, as we saw, was not my most favorite one.
It's not, but it is a crowd favorite. It's a really good one to bring somewhere if you want to bring a dessert or if you're having company.
It does taste sweet. It does taste lemony.
But generally speaking, you would agree it's a crowd favorite. You're one of the few who doesn't like
I'm an outlier. Yeah.
And if you top it with strawberries and whipped cream, it takes a lot of that tart away. It sweetens it up a lot. So there's different ways you can tweak it. You don't have to do it exactly the way we did. Do what I do. You make it once, and then you're like, okay, I need maybe one less lemon, or add in some strawberries or something to satisfy your benefit.
That's the way you cook, though. Like, we'll have something like, oh, I love this, and we'll have it again. I'm like, it tastes a little different than last time. Well, we're out of ingredients, so we had to fix it that way.
Yeah.
So we do have another dessert. This one.
This is your all-time favorite, and this is probably the best crowd pleaser.
This is all-time sugar-free favorite, because let's not forget.
What we're talking about.
Right. So, but we have to cap it just to say it's my all-time favorite. I mean, come on now. I'm still like a Reese's
This one is safe. It doesn't matter who's coming for dinner. Everybody likes chocolate mousse.
Likes it. So we take our next break, right? And we come back, then we'll talk about chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse.
So we're about to get into our next recipe, which is a chocolate mousse, which you love.
Finally, yes.
And we did do it in this segment as a single serve, because I think a lot of times people like to make just a little something for themselves. Or maybe you're home alone, maybe you live alone. But this recipe can be multiplied times a million. We've made it in a huge bowl to just put on the counter for random company that's coming, and then sometimes we top it again with strawberries and whipped cream. That tends to be our toppings. I think
this one hits a lot of the points because it's chocolate. And a lot of times I think people think, well, when we say sugar-free, they're thinking chocolate's out the window, but that's not the case, right?
No, because we're using unsweetened cocoa, and we're sweetening it ourselves. And we'll talk soon about different sweeteners, but we're obviously not sweetening it with sugar.
We're going down a different route. We're using some of that the chocolate powder, and we'll get into all that stuff. But I think it's nice because I'm a big chocolate fan.
Everyone's a chocolate fan.
I guess everyone's a chocolate fan.
Who doesn't like chocolate?
And I think, dark chocolate? Isn't that dark chocolate supposed to be better than like milk chocolate, right?
As far as there's more antioxidants and nutritional benefits in dark chocolate. But it's also got like
more of a bitter taste.
Yes.
And I think that's the general fear is like, well, if we're doing sugar-free chocolate, it's going to be more like the dark chocolate, which
children don't like dark chocolate.
No, children don't.
Grown-ups generally like dark chocolate.
Can I get something with more antioxidants, please? Generally, you're not asking for that kind of stuff. So we're going back into the kitchen. The same scenario. We recorded this pretty close to each other. Like there wasn't a lot of break in between. I want everyone to take note of the beautiful bowl of lemons that I laid out.
Yes, Sam did that.
So that was
way to go, babe.
That's a little HD TV coming through.
All right.
So let's go back. We're going back to our kitchen.
The kitchen.
Back to the kitchen. Here we go.
Okay, so for our second dessert, we're going to be making a sugar-free chocolate mousse for one.
For one. Now
it is a single serve dessert. This is for when you just want to make yourself a little treat.
Joyce makes this a lot. So I've learned in the past, and now I know why it's like for one and one only. Well, I've only had it once in my entire life.
Yeah, he doesn't like anything ever, but when he tried this, now he likes it. So I may have to double the recipe and make it for two.
This is going to be everybody's new favorite.
But it is nice to have a very quick dessert recipe that you can just make for one, because sometimes you're home alone, you want something sweet, and you don't want to whip up a whole thing of brownies because you end up eating the whole thing.
So this is a winner. It's small, quick, and I'm going to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So now I can do it.
I do mine in the magic bullet, but whatever you have that you can make smoothies in or something like that, that's going to be your best bet. I think everyone has kind of something like this, right?
This was the hot trend, like a couple years ago. Yeah. Everyone bought one. You probably have one collecting dust somewhere.
Yeah, break it out and make some good old sugar-free chocolate mousse.
Remember, everyone's on that like juice health kick, and they're juicing out all this stuff and adding sugar to it. That was great.
I know. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is add in a half a cup of heavy whipping cream.
Back with the heavy whipping cream.
Heavy whipping cream, half a cup.
Oh, half a cup in here. Okay.
Were you going to measure in here?
Well, no. I need the one that says half.
Well, okay. Just fill the 1 cup halfway. He's getting there.
Science! Okay, there we go.
Okay, so you're going to dump that in the bullet.
This is why it's so different. Like, how many things we got to make dirty?
So it's a half a cup of the heavy whipping cream, and then it's a half a tablespoon of your unsweetened cocoa powder,
That's a good mix right there.
Yep.
Right?
And then you're going to do a half a tablespoon of your sweetener. So the sweetener is the Swerve. I like to use the powdered sugar when I get the Swerve. I just like it the best. But if you have an erythritol that is granulated, you could certainly use that in this recipe as well. That's what we used in the other one. But for this one, I like to use the powdered variety. So Swerve is the brand that I tend to recommend and go to because most people don't have any sort of digestion issues with Swerve. Sometimes when you're switching from sugar to these sugar-free alternatives, it can be a little rough on your digestive system. So I would suggest starting slow and seeing how you make out with it. But usually people do really well with Swerve. That's the brand that most people do well with.
It's a fun name. Swerve.
Okay, so now you're just going to whip it up. And you already learned from the first recipe, it's going to take a quick minute, but this is only a half a cup, so it's not going to take that long.
So through the magic of TV editing, this thing will appear.
Oh, this is pretty quick.
So
give it a little shake.
Okay.
There you go, just to get the powders in there. And then go ahead and...
Gotcha. Remember how this thing's done.
Yep,
Here we
just
go.
turn it.
All right, sound guy, get ready.
And you can't let it go more than like 30 to 60 seconds, so you just stop it, shake it, and do it again.
Give it another little shake.
Yeah, and I'm going to get you a spoon while you do that.
All right. One more shake. One more time.
Yeah, do it one more time, and then we'll check on it.
All right, so it started as powder and
Cream.
heavy cream.
Yep.
That's pretty much all it was. Half a cup, if I get this right, half a cup of cream.
Correct.
Heavy cream.
Right.
Half a tablespoon.
Half a tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa, half a tablespoon
I
of
think we
erythritol.
nailed it.
And he nailed it. That is pure on chocolate
You
mousse.
do it like Dairy Queen style.
That was brave of you.
Yeah, it's
so
not
give it a
coming
whirl,
out.
see how you like it.
Uh-huh.
A couple of things you could do if you wanted to just zhuzh it up a little bit is you could add in some toppings. Is it yummy? Grab me.
It's terrible,
Grab me
but I'll
those
finish it
over
just
there.
for you. Okay.
So
Okay.
I like, when I make it for myself, the other ones, I always add in Lily's chocolate chips. I like to have a little crunch in there, a little texture. The only chocolate chips I really recommend now are Lily's because they don't have sugar in them. They're sweetened with stevia, but they have the full-on chocolate and they're delicious. And Lily's is not paying me to say this. I just really like it.
But if Lily wants to pay us to say it.
Sure. But yeah, so these would be the chocolate chips I would put in. I mean, if you're not doing a sugar-free diet, you could use any good chocolate chips that you have. But if you want to keep it a sugar-free recipe, stick with the Lily's. And then I like sometimes to put some almonds in, whatever kind of good almonds you have, or any kind of nuts. It also makes that a really nice textured dessert. Sam, we learned, likes his just plain straight up. He doesn't like anything in it, so that's how we fix this for today.
It's really simple and basic. I'm not a huge sweets guy. I mean, I like sweets, but I'm not like really big into it.
I don't know if you guys have caught on to this, but I love sweets.
Yeah, Joyce is all about it.
I love them. I love them. The fact that I'm on a sugar-free diet is ridiculous because I just love sweets so much. But I figured out a way to make it work. I'm able to make desserts all the time. They're very satisfying. They keep me happy. That one's a win, right?
This is good. I mean, without the instructions and everything, we're just whipping it together. What, 3 minutes?
Yeah,
maybe?
it doesn't take any
Put it
time.
together?
So,
no time at all.
So we gave you something tart. We gave you something sweet. Hopefully you like one of them and let us know what
That's
you
kind of
think.
like us. Something tart, something sweet.
Just like us.
Perfect.
Nailed it. Okay, so we did 2 different recipes utilizing 3 different sugar alternatives. So we used erythritol.
Erythritol.
We used Swerve.
Swerve.
That's his favorite word. And we used, of course, Stevia.
Stevia.
So those are the 3 that I use most frequently. They're the 3 that I always have on hand. Once in a while, we may come across something because I hear about it and I want to try it out. But they're the
Good old
staples.
Google,
They're the
YouTube
best
comes
ones
across.
I feel like to have in your pantry. So when we get back from the break, we're going to really break down what those sweeteners are, where they came from, how you can utilize them.
Just real quick, where do you find them? Like, do you have to go to a specialty store to find all these sugars?
Well, you can find everything on Amazon. We all know that. Most grocery stores will sell at least Stevia or at least one of these.
In the same aisle, like sugar aisle, stuff like that?
You would get it in the sugar aisle, yes. Not every supermarket has every one of them. I know in our little town, I drive to a couple different markets to get what I need. If I'm not getting it, I get everything delivered. I'm so spoiled
definitely
now.
Moved down that route, right?
But most grocery stores do have at least one of these options.
Right. Yeah. So everything's visible or easy access to.
You have to look for it. I mean, there's going to be 50 things of sugar and one thing of erythritol. You know what I mean? But
and it's packaged relatively the same way, right? Like that's the other thing I noticed is a lot of the packaging is kind of the same. It's all decorated maybe a little differently. Yeah,
it depends. Like I said, one is liquid, one's powder, so they're all a little bit different. But feel free to ask someone at the grocery store.
Oh, isn't that who asks questions?
I don't know. People ask me questions at the grocery store. I must look like I know what I'm doing at the grocery store. People ask me all the time.
Just going down there. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have to go up and down every single aisle to figure out what's going on because the signage is never
People ask me, one, to grab them things that are high.
Nearly every time I go out, I'm helping someone out on something high.
Yeah. If someone looks lost for some reason, they connect eyes with me and they're like, do you know if this store carries blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I don't know why you think I would know that, but you're going to have to go down the street to such and such a store.
Why are you asking me? But by the way, yes, it's right down here. It costs $2.99.
Yeah.
Go to register number 4, tell them Joyce sent you, and everything will be all good. All right, so let's we'll take our last break, and then we'll come back and we'll figure out more about what these sugars are. We'll get into all that brainy science kind of stuff to kind of break it down.
Yeah, we may not get quite as advanced as he's trying to sell it to be, but we'll tell you what it is.
For me, it's really, really advanced.
Welcome back to Doing Life TV, and we are talking about sugar-free sweetening options.
Which doesn't sound good, but it is good. That's the moral of the story, right? That's like this whole episode is you can get rid of sugar but still have that yummy sweetness.
Yes, absolutely. But as I said in the first segment, we do live in the land of reality, and let's be real, nothing tastes as good as sugar, and nothing feels as good in your body as sugar. But it doesn't last long, that feeling, that like euphoric feeling you get from sugar. That's a very temporary feeling.
And we talked about it being addictive and stuff like that, and that is, in general, like so you have to, like, if you're going to make the switch, you kind of got to work that addictive habit out, right? Is that a legitimate?
And one of the nice things is when you get a sugar craving, you can make something sweet with these ingredients, something great. So the first ingredient we're going to talk about is stevia, because I think that's the most commonly heard one. Most people have heard of stevia.
In, like a stevia monk fruit combo at like Starbucks. So a lot of people are looking. There's different options.
It's in the green packet. You're getting sugar, the little individual packet ones. That's probably the only sweetener we use when we go to Starbucks. Sometimes we'll get a sugar-free sweetener, but I'm sure that's full of bad additives. But we're not
Let's
perfect.
not get into that, right?
But
we're not perfect.
Stop.
Okay.
So that's obviously made from a plant. It's a leaf. You can actually buy a stevia plant. People get stevia leaf if they want to be real purists about it. We just get the liquid form stevia.
I wonder if you can grow it in your garden like you have a lot of the...
I do believe you can.
So...
I work with a girl who has it.
So like oregano and parsley
and you get stevia. Yeah, for sure. There are drawbacks to all sugar-free sweeteners, if we're being honest, and stevia can cause bloating. So that would be the one I would just say, anytime you're switching from sugar to a sugar-free alternative, very slowly, and, use a little wisdom. If you're going to be, stuck on a plane for 12 hours, maybe it isn't the best time to try something new.
Not for your guests, not for the rest of the plane, that's for sure.
But that's not a terrible side effect, and if you're using it in very small quantity, you're not going to experience that. This is when people are going above and beyond the recommended amounts, which is,
and again, remember the correlation is
30 to 150 times the sweetness. So you really only need to put a drop or two in your cup of coffee. It's delicious.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So and that also helps keep you mindful of like, maybe I don't need to have 3 pastries because this is going to cause maybe a little bit of bloating if I do. So that's the stevia. The stevia is what we used in the whipped cream. We put a couple of drops in the whipped cream. That was the only time we used the stevia.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say typically I use it for whipped cream and coffee. That's my kind of go-to things that I use stevia for.
A little dab will do you on that one, right?
Literally, yeah. Erythritol is the one we used it in granulated form, and we used it in the lemon cheesecake mousse.
Right.
And that is a sugar alcohol.
So, sugar alcohol?
It's a sugar alcohol. It's a little bit, I would say, controversial in some people who are really, all natural purists would not necessarily want to consume a sugar alcohol.
Okay.
But it doesn't necessarily have an effect on your blood sugar, and it doesn't have calories or carbs. So we do use erythritol. I wouldn't say we use it in excess, but yeah, I take advantage of it. I think it's a wonderful thing to have on hand. It's made from, it's found in blackstrap molasses fermented by yeast. So the way they're making erythritol is a very similar way to how they create beer. It's a very similar process.
It's fermented with yeast?
Yeah.
That's exactly how they make beer, right?
Yeah. This,
so we can have erythritol breweries like popping up all over the place?
I don't really know the science of it or of beer, to be exact. So I don't know how
it just goes in and comes out, right?
I'm not saying that I advocate toward this, but this is one that's been very extensively animal tested. And there have been
the erythritol has been
erythritol, right? So they're feeding animals erythritol so they can do this testing. Again, I'm not saying I'm for that. I'm just saying this has happened,
and that of happy little rats going around.
There's not negative side effects. So
they're not getting fatter. They're still able to go to the gym on a regular basis.
As a matter of fact, many people will subtract if they see erythritol on an ingredient label. They'll subtract that number. Like say it says 5 grams of erythritol, they'll subtract that 5 grams from the carb content to get their net carbs, because again, it's not having an effect on your blood sugar. So yeah.
And then
wait a minute, there is one thing.
I'm waiting.
It can cause some digestive issues. Again, if used in excess. So it's not going to cause anything negative as far as
like your body's reaction and everything like that.
Everything's going to be fine, but it can make you feel like you're going to want a potty nearby. So you want to use it in small amounts. If I use a dessert with it, I'm going to have 1 serving of dessert.
And you're going to, is this something you train your body for, or is it just a result?
Yeah, the first time I had erythritol, I was like, oh, this is terrible. But now I can eat erythritol all day long. It doesn't affect me at all.
Never happening ever again.
So just be aware,
Again, don't take it for the first time to go on a plane.
Right, exactly. Start with small amounts.
That's kind of our way of looking at things. Can I do this on a plane?
Can I do it on a plane? They will say when you buy erythritol, it measures equally. So 1 cup of erythritol would equal 1 cup of sugar. I find that to be a dirty, rotten lie. It is so sweet. Don't you think it's so sweet?
Yeah, no, hands down. So it's much sweeter.
Always cut it in half. 100% of the time, if the recipe says 1 cup of erythritol, I am putting in a half a cup of erythritol.
You feel like it's like a 2 to 1.
I do.
Okay.
I feel like it's a 2 to 1, and I think that may also be why I don't have any digestive issues with erythritol.
Because you're pulling back.
I'm using significantly less, about half as much as recommended in any recipe. I don't even mess around with what they tell me to do. I find it's totally sweet. And some people say they get a little bit of like an aftertaste from erythritol.
Oh, yeah?
I don't. And again, I think it might be because I'm using half the amount of what's recommended.
And what it's in.
Plenty sweet. So,
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It works out for us.
And then last but not least was the Swerve.
Swerve!
So Swerve is a mixture of erythritol. I can never say this word, but I think it's oligosaccharides.
Gigasaccharides. You remember you wrote it. You're going to make me read your handwriting.
And natural flavoring.
Oligosaccharides.
Yeah.
And natural flavors.
So that is the most balanced sweetener. Yeah. That is the one most universally loved. It causes almost no digestive issues at all. I guess if you ate, an entire batch of desserts, it could, but I guess that could be said for anything. Swerve It's a very magical substance that I very highly recommend you get.
And it has the best product name out there. I mean, what
you can
beats
buy it
Swerve?
in granulated. You can buy it in confectioners. You can buy it in brown sugar. So it's just like buying sugar.
Brown sugar Swerve?
Yeah,
Brown Swerve?
Oh, yeah.
What?
And you can.
Do we have it in our cabinets?
We have it in our cabinets.
Huh.
And it will brown on a stove like sugar will. Like you know how like sometimes you can make like a caramel candy.
Yeah.
Anything you can do with sugar, you can do with Swerve.
Swerve is the magical fruit.
It's really a wonderful thing to have on hand. Again, it does say it can measure equal parts. I typically will maybe not cut it in half, but it's very sweet.
Yeah.
So I don't typically do equal parts. I'll usually do a half or maybe 2/3, depending on what the recipe is. So those are the ones we use. There's only one more sort of worth discussing. The rest of them I don't really.
We talked about this during
much.
the break, and this is mind-blowing information here.
So a lot of times when a household decides to go sugar-free, xylitol comes up a lot.
Xylitol.
It's a very popular substance used in chewing gum is probably the most common way people are getting xylitol. So everyone is having xylitol almost every day because who's not chewing sugar-free gum, right?
Every gum out there is like sugar-free unless it's like the Bubblicious pack and stuff that you give your kids, right?
So I actually bought xylitol once because I didn't know this yet, and I used it in a baked good, and it wrecked my stomach. So let's just use it for gum and nothing else. It did not go well. But xylitol is very, very poisonous for dogs.
Really?
So when I learned that, I just nixed it from our household. I'll never buy it again because to say it's poisonous is an understatement. Just to give you an idea.
And just to let people know, we got 2 little doggies in the house.
Tiny dogs.
They're small. Well, yeah, I mean, they got big attitude. They're 12-pound dogs.
Yeah, they're little.
Yorkie mixes.
So they're saying
Buster and Spark, in case you're wondering.
3 grams of
one's
xylitol.
Black and one's gold. Yeah.
Can kill.
Spark really likes Joyce a whole lot. Buster loves her.
Yeah, he's my doggy.
So she's really concerned about Spark.
Do you care about the xylitol killing dogs?
I care about what it's going to do to my Buster.
Okay.
All right, let's find out.
About 3 grams of xylitol can kill a dog 65 pounds. And
3 grams?
3 grams. And
how many pieces of gum is that?
10.
10 pieces. So if you dropped a pack,
big dog.
Right, you dropped a pack of gum down on the floor, your golden retriever could die.
If he eats it.
If he eats it.
I mean, you could drop gum and he'd be totally fine, typically.
That reminds me, there's a cartoon I saw as a kid, and little boys asked his mom, "Mom, have you seen my gum?" And the dog is behind him, and the dog had a bubble coming out of its rear end.
That's
It must have been sugar
classy. Gum. It must have been full-on sugar gum.
It was a hilarious cartoon, though.
So yeah, that's not a lot. They're saying for a small dog, it could be as little as 2 pieces of chewing gum.
Yeah,
and it could actually kill them.
Get it out of the house.
Xylitol, if you have dogs, I would suggest just never purchasing it at all.
Not at all.
And if you're taking it to a house that has dogs, I would suggest not doing that. So
we had to put a sign on the front of our door: "No sugar-free gum allowed."
No xylitol.
No
well,
xylitol.
Gum is fine. Dogs aren't chewing gum. I get sugar-free gum all the time. First of all, I don't bring it in the house. It never leaves my car.
Right,
That's where gum belongs, in your car for when you're going somewhere.
Duh. Yeah. In case you get like a big meeting or something like that.
Your car and your pocketbook. Where else do you keep gum?
Yeah, that's a great point. I have some in my office. That's a good point there. All right, so to put this all in one big package, you can go sugar-free and still get the sugar taste. Right? I mean, that's
sweetness. You can still have a nice, sweet,
that's what
people are
ultimately looking for. To say, I'm going to go sugar-free, you're just thinking bitter and a yuck-filled life, but there are options out there
and it seems almost unattainable.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice to be realistic. Like, I'm probably not going to be 100% sugar-free. I'm going to drastically cut sugar. And 2, I'm still going to enjoy having a sweet dessert at the end of the day, because I'm not ending my day without a dessert.
No, you love
I have a
desserts.
sweet tooth,
and I'm in on that mousse. I like that chocolate mousse. So, hey, check it out. Like, if you're watching this and you tried it, let us know what you think about it. Just reach out to us through Quinn Broadcasting, because we want to know that everyone else is feeling as happy with their Swerve as we are. It'd be wonderful. All right, until next time. Goodbye.
Bye.